we are so happy you're here. So thank you, and thank you so much. And now let's go to the party.
Which I don't know. How are you guys doing today? It's really cool to be here. It's absolutely amazing. We all just arrived in the last couple of days, and we're really psyched up to meet you all.
It was last night. Jet lag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a comic pause. Yeah, totally. And now we're going to do our dance. Awesome. Yeah, well, we're really excited to meet all of you, and thank you so much for coming. Honestly, it's going to be a really, really fun couple of days.
So Shantel and Rick, you can stay here for your Q&A, and Violett and Matt.
You see you guys later.
See you.
We're both very moisturized this morning. Too much information. Everyone's like, can you translate that?
Do a lot of people in here speak English? Or
Don't worry.
Hi, how are you?
We're very worried.
First of all, thank you so much for being here.
So happy to be here.
Yes, my pleasure.
My question is actually for Rick. Last year, I had the opportunity to meet you in Birmingham as well, City of Heroes.
Awesome.
There was a question that was given to you there about your South African roots.
Yes.
In the little dance.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was wondering if
Me? No.
surprised everybody as well.
I hate the attention.
I was wondering if you could do it again, because it was wonderful to see.
Wow, starting off with a bang. My African dancing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Video?
No, that's not what I said. Do not video it. This is actually from Zimbabwe, this dance, okay? Actually, you know what? It involves you as well. Because you just have to like pretend, because we used to be like, it used to have to be in a circle, right? And then you'd like go around the circle, and you'd call out the name of that person. This was when I was in Africa, all the kids used to teach us this dance. And when your name was called, you had to come into the middle of the circle and do this dance, which I'll show you in a second. Which we later realized was actually quite, oh, the lights are dimming. That's because it's great, pressure's on.
There's nobody out there. They're all
Yeah, totally. Thanks for the tip. And we found out it was actually quite a rude song later in life. But anyway, that's irrelevant right now. So here's something a little like this. They used to call me Leaky, like for Rick, you know. Leaky, Leaky, Vitanka, Tipaka.
Thank you so much.
Shantel Van.
I would not be that good.
Hello, I wanted to know if you can share with us a funny moment that happened on the flash set.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. Well, it was always really fun being on the Flash set because there was a lot of dancing and singing that happened. I feel like, especially with Jesse and Grant and Carlos, they. Carlos especially used to make up songs with the lines of the show a lot of the time. I remember there was one time when I was stuck in the pipeline, and Eddie, it was Carlos, Jesse, and Grant and Candace, and they were searching for me. I don't know if you guys remember that episode where I was stuck with Tom Cavanaugh. Oh, what's his name? Harrison Wells. Need some prompts. They were basically Carlos had to say Eddie's in the pipeline. That's where he is. Like, where's Eddie? Where's Eddie? I think Eddie's in the pipeline. And then Carlos just started going, Eddie's in the pipeline. And then everyone was started doing this and then Jesse was like, Eddie's in the pipeline. Eddie's in the pipeline. And they were doing this 1970s kind of, they were just riffing. I love when they just improvise and they're very I feel like they're all so, especially Grant, impulsive, wonderful, relaxed, amazing people to work with, where you just always feel really happy and safe, and no one's neurotic, and no one's messing up the vibe on set. It's very cool.
There's no diva issues on set. It's kind of like one big family. I had a really great moment. Some of you in Paris, I shared this with. Now all of you get to hear. It involves Grant's crotch, so you'll be happy. So we were shooting the episode with one of the bad guys with all the dreidels for the Christmas episode. And they were shooting this one shot where they wanted to see our feet leaving the ground, like Flash was saving me, and they just wanted a shot of our feet on the ground and then us lifting. So I was like, how is this gonna work? And we were up on this, we had to hold on to almost like a pull-up bar, and on the other end was a bunch of guys who were gonna pull us up in the air. And so Grant and I were, face to face, and we had our arms up in the air, and they're like 3, 2, 1, and as they pulled us up, Grant decided to lift up his feet and do a pull-up, which then and therefore brought his crotch into my face. And he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize that would end up there. And then we have it all on video, don't worry. It was a very special moment. But there's always silly antics and things that happen on set, and especially when you have good people around.
Yeah, so that's going to be a good one of the bloopers reel.
Yeah.
Season 2.
Crotch in the face.
Totally.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Of course.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are
Great.
you?
Thanks.
Really
Oh,
great.
Wow. Spotlight.
I'm fine, thank you. So, what do you think of Brussels so far?
Well, we actually had an awesome day yesterday.
Yeah.
I arrived in the
Rick
morning.
landed.
I landed. Yeah. Stayed awake all day. And I actually happened to meet these guys in the lobby, which was awesome. And we ended up walking around all day. We went, and unfortunately, I didn't really know the history. We needed one of you guys to tell us exactly what's going on. But we started figuring out, we're like, oh, this is the Parliament building. And we went down, we happened to walk into the main square. We got waffles.
There's some elevator, by there, down. I mean, we just really explored and walked We had a few places we knew that I looked up that I wanted to go, and otherwise, you know, we would talk to shop owners and they would tell us, like, there's a really great chocolate place over here, or there's a really great vintage shop over there, and...
Yeah, actually, you were the kind of tour guide. I would have just been walking around like...
I looked up a few places to go, and otherwise we just kind of explore in between, and we would eat in between, and...
Yeah, we had chocolate.
Yeah.
We had Belgian chocolate.
We had chocolate, we had fries
It was
and mayonnaise.
incredible. Are you kidding? Oh my god. I had this white chocolate like golf ball thing with like salted caramel inside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of...
Insane.
Yeah.
And we had waffles.
We did.
Is there anything else we should do? I mean, this is so touristy and terrible, but what's the wonderful thing to do?
Everybody said we
Belgian
never seen
waffles.
like the statue of the baby with the penis. I don't know what it is, but I have a really great photo in my mind of you like laying down.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. Yeah. We'll Snapchat that.
Well, it wasn't far from the place you were yesterday.
Really?
The Grand Place, yeah, it wasn't far from there.
Oh God, how did we miss it?
We stumbled upon that. So where were we before that? And we were just walking, and all of a sudden we walked into like the Grand Square, and we're like, holy shit, what is this? This is amazing.
It is. It's insane.
Yeah.
And
I mean-
did you go see the balls? 8 of 10.
Excuse me?
I did, you know, we
Like,
saw it like when you're
like
standing
outside.
up. What is it like a courthouse or parliament? I don't know what they call it here, like the big, huge building on the top. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like we took a picture where there was like the view of the city from up there.
Yeah, when you're kind of looking over, it's got the war memorial by the big Parliament building.
I'll show
It's right
something and
there.
find out.
No.
But from the view of the city, you can see the silver balls in the distance.
Oh yeah. The silver ball.
Yeah. What is that?
It's a monument.
Yeah.
A monument, and you can go
It's a
up
monument?
there. Yes.
What kind of
Yes.
monument?
She doesn't know. That's why she was like, it's
I'm sorry.
a monument.
I still have things to learn about my own country.
Don't worry, I didn't even know what language you guys spoke here. So I'm the worst.
Well, thank you so much.
Of course, thank you. Thanks.
That got those in the pretty guys got a good friend. They're like, you idiots.
You're so pretty, you know.
We can't have it all.
Toast or pastry, get into my tummy. Frosting doodle on my strudel, and now I'm gonna eat you up. This is kind of dirty, actually.
No, that is the most adorable, cutest, most
It was a
delicious
very
thing.
like silly
It's cute, that's
episode where I
awesome.
think I was going crazy because my sister was pregnant and at any minute she could pop, and I was finding ways to entertain myself and her, and
Amazing. I feel like
yeah.
it could be a commercial jingle.
I love when you guys will post about them. It started because Rob and I would eat them on set. It was like our one request. We would ask Crafty, like, can you get these toaster strudels? And we would eat them all the time. And then our creator found out, and he's like, oh ho, payback. And
Yes.
wrote that. So now you guys
Like
get.
Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, kind of, but way better. Pop-Tarts are like dry. These are like warm, like croissant on the outside, like jelly on the inside. We love it. Yeah, it's like a cheap version of like a Danish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Patty or
I mean, that's, you know, it's always hard as an actor to pick a favorite role because it's true, the characters are, you know, each character has a little bit of you, and I could never abandon one character for the other. But that show was so special to me. It was really, I loved when I first read the script and to get to play Vera and her journey of self-discovery and the things that she struggled with as far as, you know, somebody kidnapping her son. And she just had so much going on, and she had such a great realization from being an atheist scientist to really believing in something. I felt like the message was bigger than I even understood until I started working on it. It was about hope, and I said in so many of my interviews, like, in this day and age, we all want to believe in something, and we all want to believe that there's hope, or
something bigger than us. And personally, I don't believe what Vera believed. I believed what she ended up believing. So to play something so opposite and allow a character to have a journey and to feel like I was still giving people hope in something greater was so much fun. And the story, had all these characters and we had powers and all that stuff was really great. And it was really hard to play because I would not understand what it's like to walk through walls and to spirit walk. And filming it looked ridiculous. I looked like a toy soldier, like running into a wall who couldn't go through it. But yeah, that role was really special to me as well, just like that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We love you both on the series. We miss you.
Oh,
Thank you.
So guys, thank you so much.
Over?
Pleasure.
Yes.
We'll see you all
Thank you, Marina.
at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very soon. I'll be right now.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
This one? Can you guys hear me in this? Yeah. I'm just if you're all alone.
Hi, hello again. So I'm a big fan of One Tree Hill since I was a child.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know
How old are you now?
I'm 18.
So you're still kind of like...
Yeah. I would like to know how was it to go on One Tree Hill when the cast was so old and all the people know each other for years. How was it to go and to be the new girl on the cast, and what was it to work with these people, especially Robert?
Yeah. It's hard. Normally when I'm doing One Tree Hill conventions, I can't be as honest, but I feel like because I'm not doing a One Tree Hill convention, I can tell you a little bit more of the truth of things. Joining a new cast is very difficult because they had 6 years of drama and growing up together. And, it would be like you guys going to school for 6 years with people. You have history, you have fights you had. And Rob and I didn't know anything going in. We were just really excited to have a job and to be working together. And him and I bonded, and we watched some of the past seasons, so we knew what to expect from the show. But we didn't know all of the history of everybody, and we very quickly learned. And there is, when they started that show, a lot of them were really young. They were 17, 18, 19, and they kind of grew up together, and they dated one another, and we didn't know any of this. So it was, I'm not going to lie, it was very difficult. It felt like I was in high school, and people would get mad at me, and I wouldn't know why. It would be because they didn't like somebody, and I was talking to them, and it was very political in that sense. But I think that after, Rob and I were always each other's safe haven. We would hang out always together no matter what was happening, and we always supported one another and became best friends because of it, because we survived. But yeah, it was, I think that towards the end, everything got okay, but at the very beginning, it was hard. It was really difficult to figure out who you could be friends with and who you weren't going to make mad. And I think that's why Rob and I always stuck together. And Rob's amazing. That's my best friend. And he always will be. I mean, we've been friends for almost over 8 years now. And I feel like he's family, that he'll be in my life forever. So I'm very grateful.
When you think about when you kiss Robert, how do you feel now? Because it's
when I had to kiss him?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the very first time we ever had to kiss, and our very first scene, Sophia was directing, and we were both so nervous. It was awful. Most of the time when you're gonna kiss somebody for the first time, you don't really know what's gonna happen.
But when you know it's going to happen, you don't sleep, and you're like, I wonder how he's going to kiss, and what am I supposed to do? And you know, you're overthinking instead of just feeling. But once you do like 2 or 3 takes, it's like, oh, we got this. We know how to kiss. But yeah, I mean, after a while, it doesn't really faze you. You know what I mean? You don't really think about it. If there's a scene where we had to kiss, it was like, okay, well, we're boyfriend and girlfriend on the show, so yeah, we have to kiss.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Hi.
Actually, it's not my question.
Okay.
It's for your biggest fan, Catherine.
Biggest fan, that's true. Yes.
So she wants to know, where are you planning to travel when you finish shooting?
When I finish shooting, I've been thinking a lot about traveling. And every time I come over, like when I was just in Paris, I wish I could have stayed longer. I have to leave Monday morning from here. I never really get to when I'm shooting. I'll probably, my boyfriend's family lives in England, and I know we want to go back to England. But I've been thinking, like, I really want to go to India in the next, like, before this year is over. There's a girl there who has a charity that I want to go and help out, and I also really want to learn about, like, that culture. So my plan is to hopefully be able to go to India, but usually when I plan vacations, I end up booking work, and that I don't usually get to take them. So we'll see. I usually plan lots of places, and we'll see wherever things take me. Really, I'm open. Like I'd love to see Thailand. I'd love to go to an island and do nothing except like eat and lay in the sun. But we'll see if that happens. Awesome. Thank you. Hi. Hi.
So my question is, how many TV shows are you watching right now, and what are you watching?
Right now, well, let's be honest, every night before I go to sleep, I watch The Office because it's an easy show to watch and I love it and it's funny and it kind of like helps me zone out. I either watch The Office or Friends on repeat. I'm watching Bloodline. My boyfriend is obsessed with Game of Thrones, and I just started watching, but I just started watching this season, so I've seen no other seasons before. No idea what's going on. And I'm asking him tons of questions, and he's like, shut up, you should watch them. But I started watching Game of Thrones. I'll just work backwards, probably. What else am I watching? I don't know, I always like watching like New Girl. I watched The Flash when I was on it. And I watched the rest of the season too because I feel like they're my friends. Yeah, I don't think that, I watch a lot of movies. Yeah, sometimes TV shows are hard because I'll get so invested in them and then I won't sleep for like 2 days because I binge watch them.
And I guess you don't have the time to...
No, it's hard. It's hard right now because I'm working on a TV show and it's a very intense, like, heavy show, so it's hard for me to watch. Like, I couldn't watch House of Cards right now. It would, like, mess me up to be in intense and heavy stuff all the time. Yeah, of course, thank you. Hi.
You're a source of inspiration for a lot of people, so I would like to know. I would like to know who's yours.
I don't know if I have, one source of inspiration. I have lots of really wonderful women in my life. My grandmother was a very big inspiration for me, my mom, my sister. But really, I feel inspired by so many different things. I feel if you open yourself up, like I have had conversations like when I was in Paris with somebody, and it was a really inspiring conversation about like living life to the fullest each day. And they're like small moments, and it was just such a wonderful, eye-opening conversation. And when I was saying things, it was like, oh, I need to remind myself of that. So there's always moments, if you look for them and you want to live and find inspiration, I think you could find it in cloud watching from the airplane on the way here. It was amazing. There was like these giant clouds, and I was like, I just sat out the window for like 3 hours, and I feel so inspired about things like that, like things that are bigger than me, and even the smallest of conversations. So I think everybody should open themselves up to seeking inspiration in a lot of things around them.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, of course. On stage, you would think being like an actor that this is fun, and this gives me like, oh, I'm sweating.
Hello, thank
Hi.
you for being here.
Yes, of course.
You look amazing.
Okay.
I have question. You were working on 2 projects,
Yes.
Timeless and Shooter,
Yeah.
right? Did you finish shooting? And was one of those projects the reason I believe they call it like that, wrote you off in the Flash? Or
I can't really,
or can you?
I have to be really smart because I would love to come back to the Flash. But I have to be really smart about how I answer that because I can't be honest because it wasn't my choice. I didn't want to leave the Flash. I actually was available. So when we were shooting the Flash, I booked Shooter, the show that I'm doing now, and we shot the pilot. It was in Vancouver, and I worked on the pilot only for 2 days. And then I was finishing. I had 2 more episodes of Flash, and I think I upset them because I took a regular on another show. But I made sure that I was available for the whole rest of the season. But I think I just upset somebody. And so it was really sad. It was really unexpected for everybody. You know, Grant and I had many conversations where I was angry and then I was sad and I didn't want to leave and I didn't have to leave and I could have shot the rest of the season. So, but ultimately, like the creative decisions are never up to the actors, and I have to just like trust and hope that you guys having such a big love for Patty, that maybe I'll be back now. So Shooter, I'm working on right now. We're on episode 8. We work in Santa Clarita, which is like the desert of California. And we have 2 more episodes. We premiere July 19th on the USA Network. It's a really intense show. I would compare it to like Homeland because there's lots of action and there's lots of betrayals and it's a really, really awesome show, and it's a very smart show. And then Timeless, I think they just released the premiere date October 10th, maybe? I think 8th or 10th, I forget. But it comes on after The Voice, and that show is so much fun. That character that I got to play, her name's Kate, and she lives in 1937, and it's a show about time travel. It's like Back to the Future meets what are the movies with Tom Cruise? Like the action movies. Yeah, it's like those two. It's like a big like action, but it's also in like different parts of the future, and there's history, and it's a really, the creators, one of them was from Supernatural, so Eric Kripke, and then Sean Ryan is the other guy, and they created it together, so I feel like you guys are gonna fucking love it. So, yeah, thank you so much.
So I was wondering, as an actor, you come in contact with a lot of people and fans who know who you are.
Yeah.
And if you feel like you have to draw a balance or line between being an example to them or being yourself, and how you do that?
It was interesting. We had a conversation last night at dinner, me and Rick, and we were talking about being like your most authentic self. And I think it's hard no matter what you do. I feel pretty authentic sitting here and telling you guys that I like have massive anxiety and talking in public, and I feel as though it is a struggle to like with Instagram sometimes. Like there's certain things I want to say and then I censor myself because you don't ever want to offend or have somebody take something the wrong way, and it's gonna happen. There's nothing I can do. Not everybody's going to like me. Not everybody's going to like my characters, and that's okay. But it is like a lesson that you have to kind of come to terms with. But yeah, I think a lot of us struggle with wanting to feel accepted, or not knowing, can I really be myself and people will still like me? Like we all have that in us. We want to be liked and loved, and how much are you willing to kind of, change yourself or not change yourself? And that's the part that, like, as I get older, I'm almost, in 1 month, I'm 31 years old. And as I get older, I realize, no, I want to be exactly who I am. And now that I'm getting a little bit older and I do know who I am, that's who I want to stick with. So I feel like when I meet any of you guys, whether, it's one-on-one and like days like this, it's shorter, or when I get to meet people on the streets, I get to have a real conversation, and I feel like I'm a pretty normal person, so I always want to come across that way. Like, don't put me up on a pedestal. Like I'm just like you. I'm just like another girl we all have cool things we get to do and experience, and so let's share it. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, of course.
I wanted to know if you ever met Hilary Burton, who played Peyton.
Oh, Hillary Burton, sorry. Yeah, of course. We've done plenty of conventions together. And she was in Wilmington when we were shooting season 9. And her and Robert and I all played video games one night. But yeah, she's amazing. She's a very down-to-earth, she's just super cool. Like, you can just tell the way she talks to people that she's really easygoing, and I don't know, I really liked her, and it was unfortunate I never got to work with her. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
A very irrelevant one and a more interesting one. Which one do you want?
You ask anyone you want, it's all good.
The most irrelevant one is when you were growing up, did you have a celebrity crush?
Okay, I did. So, I don't know if you guys have them here. There's this magazine in the US and it's called Teen Bop. And they were like these magazines you could buy, and they just had like really cheesy photos of like the younger celebrities. So, and in the middle of it, there was always a poster you could tear out. And you could put the poster up on your wall, and on one side it had one celebrity, and on the other side it had another. And on one side there was JT Thomas, or like the guy from Home Improvement. Did you guys have this show? Do you guys know who he is? Oh my god, you guys have to look. Okay. So he had like a bowl cut, and he was like, the all-American, like, cool guy. And then on the other side was a guy named Andrew Keegan, who, like, I don't know if you guys know. So I had this poster, and they were on both sides, and every day of the week I would switch it. Because I couldn't decide between which boy I thought was hotter. And the other night, I was at like a charity event, and me and my boyfriend were like getting a drink, and I was like, holy shit. And he's like, what? And I was like, Andrew Keegan and his wife are standing behind us. And he's like, who? And I'm like, babe, when I was 9, he was like my world. Like, 4 days out of the week, I stared at him on a poster, and he's like, what? And I think that I don't know if they both still act, I don't know. I mean, they were like kid actors, and I was 9 years old. And then I would say the only other one was, I remember watching Leonardo DiCaprio in What's Eating Gilbert Grape. And I thought, like, oh my god, this guy's brilliant. Like, where did they find him? I didn't know that, like, he wasn't, and I thought it was incredible to watch. And I fell in love with, like, acting and things then, because you were able to, like, relate and see something, like, so transformative. And then I fell in love with him. But that's, like, an obvious, like, who doesn't love Leonardo DiCaprio? Seriously.
The other question I have is, what kind of process do you have to go through in order to reproduce the feeling of love in front of cameras? Because it's probably the hardest feeling to act.
Yeah, somebody asked me that the other day. I was doing an interview, and they asked me that about, on Shooter, I play Ryan Felipe's wife. And as there's two things, because it really depends. It depends on if I like them or not. if you understand and you get along well with that person, and you have like some kind of friendship or connection, it's easy because the love is still there, and it may not be I'm trying to think of a good way to say this. You may not have like that like sexual drive, but there's still a love, and at the base of lust and at the base of intimacy is always normal love, and it's like a feeling in your heart. And if sometimes there are people I don't like, if you look into people's eyes, you can see and feel their soul. There's no way that you can't. So I'll just lock in and look at their eyes and try to like find and like give as much love as I can out of my eyes. And you know what I mean? Like there's ways to, sometimes you have to think about somebody you love because you don't like the person. But most of the time it's pretty easy because you do have a relationship with that person, and you do love them on some level, and so it's kind of easy to do that.
Thank you very much.
Of course, good question. Thank you. Hello.
It's an intimate audience.
Did you guys have lunch? Yeah? Yeah, we had lunch. We all ate lunch together. Let's go around the room.
Yeah.
Okay,
So.
any questions?
Comments, concerns?
Yeah.
How can we do
Anyone
better?
need some therapy? Anyone working through some hard issues? It could be like Dr. Phil. I don't know why I'm
Bring your mom out!
It's Dr. Phil.
Who do you think will win the Euro Cup?
The Euros. Wales. No, but actually, you know, what I was saying earlier on, if you were there, is that the two teams, I mean, we've got Northern Ireland today, and I think that's going to be a tough game. But I think if Belgium pull their shit together, then it's going to be between Belgium and Wales in that group to go through. So there could possibly be like Belgium or Wales get through to the final. Hopefully Wales.
Who's still in it?
Who's still in it? Well, today,
Belgium?
Belgium are in it. Northern Ireland play Wales today. England is still in it.
Yeah.
Spain.
Why'd you make that face with the England?
Spain play Italy, and then
They just shot themselves in the foot.
Croatia will play good. I think that they're the surprise contenders for the tournament. I really do think that Croatia could put it together because they've got a good team. There's a great team spirit there, and Luka Modric is a great one.
I agree.
Yeah. Like football?
Totally. Me too. Amsterdam.
Oh yeah? Cool. Yeah. No, they're a good team. Yeah.
Aren't they cool, those two girls? They're twins. They're twin sisters. Okay, just not twins.
Who colored their hair first?
Like I know it.
Yeah, and then you did it after? So what else?
Okay, just stand.
Whenever you get anxious before like an event or before a shoot or something, how do you prepare yourself? How do you calm yourself down?
Xanax is what I use.
Why?
Not a lesson to take drugs, though.
Actually, there's a good. Well, somebody told me when I was in drama school, like whenever you don't have enough energy, just bend over. And whenever you do, you have too much energy. Whenever you have too much energy, bend over and touch your toes and just breathe. Do you know what I mean? Because it gets the blood flowing. So it's like good for if you have too much energy and you need to calm yourself down, and it's also good for if not. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
What do you do? I bend over.
That's.
Oh, you said Xanax?
No, I don't really. Come on. Just a Percocet. No. It's. It's a good question because anxiety is, I think it's a big problem for a lot of people, just generally in life. And then if you're an actor, sometimes it can be really overwhelming. And so there's this thing I do called IBP therapy, I think that's what it's called, where you tell yourself things like everything's gonna be okay, you're good enough just as you are, like all these mantras. And I think it all comes from a place of like self-love. You know, so the more I feel like, the more I can just love myself, be kind to myself. And it's like, oh, it's not really that big a deal, it doesn't matter, instead of all the other thoughts which are which are not constructive at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just wing it through. I just don't try to breathe. Stop sweating.
Yeah, just whatever you're doing, just like don't think about it. Just clear the mind.
It's hard though, because like doing stage work, doing a play, they say that the first night you go on, that scientifically it's the same amount of adrenaline as having a 40-mile-an-hour car crash that's surging through your body. And I can remember like every time I do a play, the older I get as well, the more experience supposedly I get, the more terrifying it becomes.
Wow. I don't know what it was, but it was intense. Was it about me? I hate that. How you all doing today? Awesome, cool. We had such a fun day yesterday. You guys are awesome. We were just talking about it last night. Really cool. I had such fun. And like, give it up for Matt giving you guys champagne. That was awesome. I didn't think about that. So today we're gonna have to buy you mimosas. Step right up, baby. Hi.
What do you like the most about the job?
This, of course. The thing I like most about it, I think, is really the acting part of it, you know, because to me that is it's so important to me, it's so precious to me. There's something that's magical that happens, hopefully some of the time when you're acting. The moments between action and cut when you get to pretend to be someone else and you get to pretend that these other people standing across from you are other people too, you know, like Grant, there's Barry Allen, and you know, Iris is the love of my life, and it's just so fun. It's so fun to play all that stuff, and you get to be free and do things that you wouldn't be able to do in your real life. You know, and be part of a story and exist in a world that is completely imaginary. It's always been a thing that I've always loved to do since I was a little child. I always wanted to be from somewhere else and do something else and have these fantasies in my imagination. And now I get to kind of play them out, and I get paid for it. What? Someone was dumb enough to pay me. It's so funny when I first got a job on the Vampire Diaries, and I told my parents on Skype, right? Because I got this part on this show. It's called The Vampire Diaries, and they're like, yeah, that's awesome, that's awesome. And then my mom was like, are they paying you? Because I've done so much stuff for free in my career, like free theater and whatever. So yeah, that was my first concern. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you? What's your name?
Wendy.
Wendy, I like that you have a spotlight on.
I want to thank you for my picture yesterday, back to back.
Oh my God, we killed that.
Yeah, it was great. So
We killed it.
Thank you very much.
I look like I'm dressed up for golfing with those pants.
Great. So my question was, I'm curious, how many accents can you do?
Well, that's a good question. I can talk about myself. Okay, so I could do Zimbabwean, of course, and I can do South African. These are authentically the ones that I can do, not the ones that are on my resume, which is like anything. It's like Irish, Scottish, like Russian, like. It's so funny on actors' resumes. There's always like a million things. Like you're like, I can juggle and like horseback ride. It's like, no, I can't. I'm so good at South African. You're giving really long answers as well.
That's okay, we have time.
And then Australian, of course. Do you want me to do that? Okay. So like South African is sort of like this, you know, if you Afrikaans, you sort of talk like this because it comes from Dutch as well. So it's kind of like actually like that. You also have to have the whole physicality of the accent and all that. So that's a really strong South African accent. But then you also have like that South African accent that's sort of like this, you know what I mean? Like they're sort of like surfy guys, you know. And they're like, yeah, we're going for a surf at 5 and then we're going for pavilion, eh? Whereas Zimbabwe's sort of like more like, hey, you want a castle, eh? It's sort of more relaxed like that, a little bit. And then, you know, Australians sort of like this. You know, you kind of, I don't know, like blokes are kind of like this, and they speak like in the middle of their mouth, and So I can do that. It just takes me a while because I don't like to go too over the top with it. Oh my God, I think I'm losing my Australian accent. I'm like, where is it? It's somewhere here. And then I can actually do New Zealand as well, but I'm better at Australian. And I can do British. Some days I wake up and I'm like, why am I British today? Like, what is going on? I just feel like I'm just like a wanker like that. I can't speak beautifully. Whereas I don't really know if that's my real accent. But like if I'm auditioning for a British role, then I'll be fully like British. I was actually in London like last year, and I had all these meetings with agents and casting directors. And I was just like going, I'm like, hi, how are you? Yeah, great. And they're like, oh, so you're English? I'm like, no. I just like talking like this.
Is it difficult to learn those accents?
You know, I think always since I was younger, I always tried to be from somewhere else. It's like, I'm not Zimbabwean. I'm from another planet. That's what I thought when I was little. I used to, this is really fucked up. I used to sleepwalk into the garden outside. This is when I was like 3 or 4, right? In my sleep, I would walk outside, stand in the middle of the garden, stare at the moon, and start crying. How creepy is that? So my parents had to put we had swing doors that didn't lock. So they had to put chairs in front of the door so that we could go outside and start howling at the moon. And my point was that I always felt like I used to look at the sky and be like, I'm not from Zimbabwe, I'm from another planet. It's like, I was just put here and I'm not supposed to be here. Because I'm bad at this. I know, ridiculous, right? Oh my God. You know, and then of course, when I left Zimbabwe, it was everyone's like, you're from Zimbabwe? That's so cool. I'm like, yeah, I'm from Zimbabwe. You can't win with me, you really can't. That's what my little sister tells me all the time. She's like, Rick, you can just never win with Rick. This is I've calmed down a lot more because I've been meditating and I've been doing those steps that I told you about yesterday. But before that, I would be so, a waiter, when she first came to LA, my little sister came to live in LA with me. And at that time I was so neurotic, I was so psyched up about everything. And a waiter would come over and that waiter is so rude, just the worst, the absolute worst. And then the next place we'd go to, the waiter would come and be like, that waiter is so nice. I'm like, there's something wrong with her. She's too nice. But she's just so nice. It's just gross. It's too much for me. It's just you could never win with you. But I'm a lot more centered. Nice person. What was your question?
About the accents.
How?
How do you acquire the accents?
That's right. Okay, well, American did take a while for me because I was doing all the wrong things with my tongue. I didn't realize this until I had to go to these voice coaches. My acting teacher, one of my acting teachers in Los Angeles actually one time, he was so harsh and he was the best. He was actually the best for me because he would John would look at you and doing a scene and he would just look at you he's almost I can't even help you. I'm sorry. I don't know what this stuff. You'd be like, oh my God, don't start at me. He'd be like, Rick, your accent, your American accent, he's it's not good enough. And never, he's you're not Woody Allen, stop doing this. He's never do that again. He's you're some shit, okay. But it was also because no one had ever told me that shit before. And so he was you have to speak in an American accent, all the time in your life. So I did that for like a good like 6 months. I was just like, I'm American now. Like, I'm going to be Charlize Theron and just be American all of a sudden, even though I'm from Africa. She's remarkable. I think she just started talking in an American accent one day and then never stopped. But I couldn't hold it for that long. And then eventually I went to a voice coach. This is a very convoluted story again. But this is when I did a play in Santa Barbara, right? I was doing a play, but I also had to go back to LA every day. And so I was driving like an hour and a half to do the play, and then an hour and a half back and doing like 7 shows a week. And every day I would put this American accent tape, a CD on in the car, and I would practice it going up and going down. It's the funniest thing. They have like the weirdest sayings, like they make you repeat these phrases. And one of my favorites is, Jam prefers yam jam. It's like a yam is a sweet potato, and it's like, no one makes yam jam. Around the rugged rocks, the ragged rascal ran. They had some gems. I'll have to look it up and come back a bit more later, but yeah, that's pretty much how I did it. Then eventually it sort of like came to me, but I still have to practice. You know, it's very tiring. Being an actor, it's so hard. You actually have to do some work. But yeah, it really takes a lot of work still to do the American accent like the day before and then make sure. And then when I talk to Americans now, I think I start talking American because I always want to be like other people.
Okay, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Pleasure. She's like, you're talking so much, you need to drink some water. Calm down. Hi.
I actually have a serious question.
Oh, you have a serious question.
About the project itself. You kind of confirmed yesterday that you will be back to season 3, right? Or
did I confirm?
You said there was a big chance. So, one thing I like about Flash is that for most comic book readers, they put Easter eggs and such. And in the first season, I don't know if you remember, when you like shot yourself at the end, we saw you get pulled into the thing with the
that thing.
Around your around your neck, or a ring or something. Did they tell you what it was, or because a lot of people think, or there's a fan theory.
Yeah.
You will be someone.
Sorry, I'll save you. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Absolutely. That was, that thing around my neck is actually the Thawne family crest. People thought it was a ring. It was a ring, but it was a family crest. And, I don't know, maybe. I would love to tell you, but I can't, mostly because I don't know the answer to that question. But it was, I'm hoping that they're going to follow up on this whole storyline. I'm just not 100% sure.
Have you read anything yet? Because
scripts.
Yeah, scripts or so. Because I think you're going to be Eddie Thawne. I'm not going to be specific, but
something blue.
Yes.
I know. I hope so.
I hope so.
So do I. I don't know, maybe we should all just lobby the writers. I was asked Jesse as well because I was just texting him about something today, and I'm sure he's read the scripts for the first few things, and there was lots of rumors in the cast as well that I was like coming back, like on the show permanently, and like, so I don't know, no one knows, everyone's really confused, and you guys don't believe me anyway. But thank you for your question, I'm sorry I can't answer it. It's a very cool t-shirt. Thank you. I'm sorry. It was a serious question and I made it into a non-serious one.
Hi, Rick.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, and you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you for
I feel awkward this morning. Like we had this moment at dinner, and it's like, now it's like weird.
So my question is, which scene do you prefer to play on The Flash?
Like my favorite scene?
Yeah.
You know, my favorite scene I think is always the scene in the hospital in like episode 3, I think it was, where I was high on like painkillers, and they didn't really you know, because it's all about Barry. It's all about the Flash. I don't know why it's called the Flash. But yeah, it was so funny filming it because I don't know, I just took it to another level. Like I actually felt like I might be high on painkillers. And we had the funnest morning, and yeah, and it was absolutely hysterical. So that was one of my favorites, and also like, you know, we were just getting to know each other, and you know, it was me, Candace, Danielle, Brent, and Jesse, and we all kind of started bonding, and I don't know, everyone was like, "Oh, you are a good actor," which always makes me happy. It's concerning. And then I would say the other one would be the boxing scenes with Barry. They were really fun. They were really, really fun to do. And Grant, you know, Grant used to say so often, he would just be doing takes and he would just be like, "Oh my God, Eddie." He was like, "I love Eddie so much." Eddie's just fucking hysterical. And he was, and you know, they didn't really write Eddie to be funny, but I don't know, he ended up just being like, not the smartest tool, not the sharpest tool in the shed, like just a little bit dumb. And so that ended up being really funny to all of us. Like he was just so nice, good, and you're like, "Oh, Eddie," because everyone else was so smart, you know, like Cisco and Caitlin and Barry. They're all like these science nerds, and he was just like, you know, jock dude who was like always trying to do the right thing. It's really endearing. So yeah, I would say those two were great. Also the scene where after I punch Barry, and then I realized that he's Caitlin tells us that he's sick. Do you remember that? That he's got this like disorder, and then Eddie gets really concerned. He's like walking up to him, looks like he's about to punch him, and then gives him a big hug. That was really fun to film. Really fun. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I love you too. That's sweet.
Hi.
Too soon? No.
My question is, like, often actors have some superstitions. Are you a superstitious person, and could you share, like, if you are one of your superstitions?
No, I'm not superstitious. Yeah, totally. I am, like, I don't like to be. I've got such an itchy nose. I get, little rabbit. It's because I get allergies, but I took this pill this morning, so they're gonna go away. It was an allergy pill, okay? What? Sorry. Your question was... Alright, enough of a fucking nice guy. Let's just fucking, you know, it's like Eddie, if Eddie could just be like hardcore and like just go all fucking like, just all like, you know what, Barry, fuck you. Actually. Maybe Eddie gets really drunk and he's like, here's how I really feel. Fucking you. I think that would be cool. But I think, okay, what would be really cool to answer your question seriously? If I came back and I was nice still, right? So everyone's like, "Oh, Eddie's back, quite great." And then slowly but surely, I would turn into a complete psychopath. That's how I would do it. Yeah, in a very logical manner that like snuck up on you. Yeah.
And a second question, can you describe yourself just in one word?
Crazy. Yeah, completely nuts. Not sane. Thank you.
Last question.
Hi. You guys are lucky. Well, maybe I'm lucky. I'm starting to give away all my secrets. You're gonna know way too much about me. Things you do not want to know. Okay, you'll be scarred.
Well, here's another fun one, man.
Okay, great. Thank you. And on a high note.
I wanted to know what is your ultimate goal in life? If you want
Wow.
to share that.
Yeah, sure. Like, no, I don't want to share that. My ultimate goal, actually, in life is to inspire other people to live their life to their full potential and be themselves 150%. And I've realized that, you know, I can do that by living, I think, by an example. And I think an actor's job is to teach us all how to live and how to really enjoy life and get the most of it. And the people we love watching, you know, Meryl Streep, or if it's some other actor, because they're living fully, you know, and they're experiencing life, and that without any kind of blocks or social barriers. And so it would be to spread humanity and love and inspire people to live a more full, crazy, unbelievable life that you kind of thought you could never dream of living. So I really think that was my purpose in life, and that is why I'm here, even though I do get confused a lot of the time. But yeah, that would be me. Yeah, cool.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you guys. You're so cool.
We did it! I'm here!
My name is Manu Bennett. Nice to meet you.
I can't believe it. On Thursday, I woke up and I was like, what am I going to do this weekend? And on Friday, I was on a plane on my way here. And somebody, you might be here, somebody reached out on Twitter and said, you should come to Belgium, and we really want to have you at this Comic-Con. And I'm like, what's going on? What is this thing? And so, yeah, because of that, I reached out to the people and said, do you want to make this happen? And we basically did the deal on Twitter, and like 15 hours later, like I said, I was on my way here. So thank you. I've never been to Brussels before, and so yeah, my name is Michael Rowe. I play Deadshot on Arrow. This is my mustache. His name is Sanchez. Yeah, it's too bad you guys didn't get to meet Manu, because he's a good guy. He's a friend of mine. He's hilarious. Hopefully you guys can meet him in the future. I was with him at an event in New Zealand about maybe 5 months ago, and I'll just tell you a little story about Manu. Manu's great, and I really thought the first time I met him that, you know, there was very little difference between the character he played on Arrow and Manu in real life, more so than most people I met. So he's a really fun guy to be around, and he, in the middle of the night, we were staying at the same hotel, we had a party, we crashed out, and then like 4 o'clock in the morning, someone starts banging on my door at the hotel. I'm like, wake up, and I'm like, you know, sleep, and I answer the door in my underwear, and I'm like, Manu? And Manu's standing there. I can't remember what month it was, but the rugby, like, world championship finals, I guess, were happening that day. I don't watch rugby, I don't even know any of the rules of rugby, but Manu is standing outside my door in a bathrobe, and the New Zealand team, the All Blacks, are in the finals, so he has a scarf around his neck, and he's in his underwear with a bathrobe on and a bottle of champagne, and he's going, brother, it's time to watch the rugby game, brother. I'm like, what? He's like, I got the lobby rented out with a TV, and my friends are coming over, it's time to watch the rugby game. I'm not going to take no for an answer. So yeah, man, we got in the middle of the night, and there was like 50 people down in the lobby, and we watched the Rugby World Championship final game, and the All Blacks won, and it was amazing, and yeah, so you never know what when that man was going to come knocking on your door. Does anybody have any questions? Hey.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, what about you?
I'm great.
Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
It's amazing. You were a perfect fit as Floyd Newton. You were perfect. And I have a question, what kind of process did you have to go through in order to be such a good Deadshot? Because you couldn't have any inspiration because it was the first time that the character was shown in TV. So what did you do?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. The first thing is that I knew that on the show they were kind of borrowing from the comics but not really ripping their characters right out of the pages of the comics. They wanted to do something sort of fresh and new for the TV show. So all I did was I kind of studied what happened to the character to make him the way he was, like with his history, what happened to him. Like every bad guy has a story of, you know, what sent them on down that road, down that path. So I wanted to figure out what happened to him, but I didn't really want to read a lot about where he ended up in the comics. So I just started going off the scripts that they gave me and the conversations that I had with the producers and the origin story. And then I just kind of started to think about characters like him that I was a fan of, like what were my favorite villains and stuff like that. And I just took like bits and pieces of different people. Like there's really a lot of like professional wrestling. Like I was a big fan of that as a kid, and some of those bad guys like Jake the Snake Roberts or Macho Man Randy Savage. These guys, they didn't really play nice with the good guys, and they didn't play nice with the bad guys either. They were kind of on their own team, and that's how this character was to me. So that's the way I approached it. And when I started to watch the performance back, I started to see little bits of other people like that I was a fan of, like even like Henry Rollins, the musician. I could see that there was a little bit of that in there because he was kind of like a rough, tough bad guy that I liked from music. Because I was a musician for a long time before I started acting, and I could even see like a little bit of the Fonz in the character because I was a big fan of the Fonz back in the day. But to play a bad guy, you just got to kind of make it real. You got to make it human. You got to find stuff that maybe you don't like about yourself that I had to look at because Floyd is definitely that guy. He kind of hates himself, and that sort of frees him up to do whatever because he doesn't care if he gets killed. So there's a lot of power in that. So yeah, I had to go to some like little deep dark places in myself to find the guy, but also they wrote the character really well and wrote him with a sense of humor. So I always had like those jokes and those things where I would make fun of everybody else in the scenes to kind of cover up the self-loathing, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'll see what they write for him next. Thanks for the question, man. That's a good question.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I was wondering if you had any secret project you could tell us about. Well, it won't be a secret anymore, but...
I have lots of really fun things that I'm about to do. What can I tell you that I won't get in trouble for telling you? Well, I grew this mustache for a role that I just did about 2 weeks ago for a movie called Suck It Up that we filmed in Canada, and I play a redneck named Dale who runs a female mud wrestling federation at a small town in the mountains in Canada. So that'll be out soon. Besides that, I've been training for like the last 3 months in LA with like professional fighters and stuff for this role that I have coming up where I'll be playing a ninja. But I can't tell you what it is. But yeah, you're gonna see me kick some ass.
I'm so excited about that. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Hi.
Hi.
First of all, thank you for coming. This
Oh,
is a short notice.
no problem.
Sorry. My question is, have you seen the movie Deadpool?
I did.
So I was wondering how Deadshot and Deadpool would get along.
I think that would be hilarious, for one. I think do they really get along with anyone?
No, which is why I asked
Yeah.
this question.
Yeah, I think it would be really funny for everybody else if they were, put together in a project, which would never happen because it's Marvel and DC, but yeah, I think that the sense of humor that they both share and the reckless abandon that both characters have and the skills that they have, I think that they would have a lot of respect. The thing about Floyd is that even though he doesn't really outwardly do it, in the history of his character, he accidentally killed his brother. So he kind of likes having a male companion in his life, like that brotherly figure. That's what Diggle is on Arrow for Floyd. He's sort of that big brother that he misses, you know what I mean? Even though he kind of pretends like he doesn't like him and he's always sticking it to him and doesn't understand why he would go about things the way he does, why do you have such a strong conscience and why are your morals getting in the way of like your job all the time? Like, he doesn't understand him, but he has that sort of attraction to doing these missions with him because of that. And so it might be kind of the same thing with Deadpool. Like, they might get along better than you'd think.
And if they had a fight, who do you think would win?
Oh, Deadshot kick his ass. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Hi.
What was it like to play Deadshot in Earth 2? Did you like it?
Did I like playing Deadshot? Yeah, I mean, it definitely had its challenges because after he first showed up, he gets shot in the face with an arrow. So, first of all, I was like, okay, so I guess his character's dead. And then they just kept bringing him back and then just kept killing him. So, like, it's like show up and blow up, That's kind of...
Do you think Deadshot can come back?
I think that in the comic books, he is the hardest person to kill. So I would say, with confidence, that you have not seen the last of him. Okay, but besides the fact of having to show up and blow up all the time, he had to wear the eye patch always after he got shot with an arrow. So then every time I was doing any stunt scenes, I always had one eye covered. And now if you cover one of your eyes, you have no depth perception. So if I made you wear an eye patch right now and I came at you really quickly to shake your hand, you might miss it because it's just really hard to get that coordination without both eyes. So now they make me show up and fight everybody all the time with one eye covered, which is really, really difficult. So I like the challenge of it, but I've punched walls, I've hit the camera, I've hit David Ramsey, I've hit everything and like tripped over stuff. So yeah, it's crazy. It's a tough gig, but I really enjoy it.
And on Earth 2, did you like to play Paul Dalton in Earth 2?
Did I like playing the Earth 2 version? Yeah, I mean, that was so weird when I got that script, and I'm like, well, hang on a second, so he's a wimp and he can't shoot anything? this is weird. People are gonna hate this version of the character. But then when I showed up and started doing it, playing him like a total loser, it was really fun for me. But I still thought everybody wouldn't like it because they wanted to see that, you know, real tough guy. Again, like they gave me this sort of these comedic moments, and I really like playing comedy. And I had so much fun with it, and that cast is really fun to act with, and they let you, more so than Arrow, at least that director that we had on that episode, she let us sort of play around a bit and make up our own lines sometimes and just screw with each other, so I had a lot of fun playing Earth 2 Floyd. Yeah, but you know, they played it on the episode like maybe he lived, like, you know, he got slammed into the beam, but in the script it was like, no, he did. So maybe Earth 2 Floyd is still alive, but I was like, are you kidding me? Again? I've died more on that show than anybody else. Well, no, I think Robbie and Mel and me had a conversation. I think we're tied for 3 deaths in that world. So there's a tie. Yeah, we're tied. But I feel like I want to die at least one more time. Maybe if we go to Earth 3.
If you come back in season 5 of Arrow, you can be killed again.
Totally. I mean, look, let's be honest here. These mofos are going back in time on The Flash and on Legends of Tomorrow, and there's like, how many different Earths, you know, according to that doctor? He's like, oh, this was Earth 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So, I mean, it's just, anything is possible. That's what's fun about the show. In that world, anything's possible. You know, you could see freaking zombie Floyd on Earth 3 or some shit. Who knows? No problem. Hey, you again.
Yeah, still not liking your mustache.
Oh man, you're gonna go back to the mic next time and it's gonna be gone. It's not real, I'm just gonna go.
I was wondering if Floyd could be a metahuman, what kind of power do you want him to have?
A metahuman?
Yeah.
Ooh. I mean, I always have dreams like I'm flying, so I think if you could fly, you could do some serious damage. Or maybe have a tail or something weird like that, where you can like swing from trees and shit, like Beastman. No, like a monkey tail, like something for counterbalance, so you can do really weird shit and hang upside down while it shoots people and stuff like that.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah. What do you think? What should he have? A superpower?
Invisibility.
Invisibility.
Yeah.
It's too easy. If you can't see him coming, you just see 2 guns coming at you, and like he's the best shot in the world.
It'd still be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. And all you see was the tail. The tail and 2 guns.
I want to see that episode.
I think we should start writing this shit up. Start like a web series.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi.
Hey.
So, I think we all know you can sing amazingly.
How do you know that?
I have my sources. So, could you sing something for us?
God, you really put me on the spot. I don't want to do that. I don't even have an instrument. I just did the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song. You already got it.
Come on!
Oh, you come on, sing with me. Do a duet. Well, see? Now see? See what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
No, I do have a band. I play drums. But I recently got the band back together for an event that I did. And I sang a bunch of songs, and I played the mandolin, and I had never done either on stage, and I had a blast doing it. But before that, I had not even really sang karaoke or anything. So singing is a new thing for me, so I'm a little shy. But if you ever bring me back, I would advise to bring my band back, and we'll do a full show, and you will get your money's worth, I promise.
Yeah, this would be cool.
I bet it would. Maybe at the after party. Maybe if this wasn't tea that I was drinking, maybe I'd be up here, like, you know, busting out the jams. But maybe if you had some, like, the backing track to a song I knew, but I'm not confident enough just to bust out some like slick like lyrics or anything like that right now.
Too bad.
Nice try though.
Thank you.
No problem. Is that it?
No.
Okay.
If there are no more questions, I have some questions.
Oh, you have a bunch?
Yeah.
All right.
It's like a trivia.
Oh, I heard about this.
No, don't worry.
Okay.
I show you.
All right. What is the one thing you wish you knew when you were younger? I don't know. I feel like, you know, some people like to go to psychics and stuff like that and know the future and stuff like that. I really don't want to ever know the future. So if old me went back and talked to younger me, I feel like younger me would just be like, don't tell me, no, I don't want to know. But just, you know, stick to the friggin' goal. My goal has always been to try to be creative for a living. That's all I wanted to do. I thought music could be the way to do it. It turned out it wasn't. It was acting. My little brother got me into acting. I had never acted in my life, not in high school, not ever. And when my band broke up, I moved out to Vancouver, and my little brother, he was going to go to film school. He's a really good writer and director. Well, he wasn't a good director back then, but he, instead of going to school, bought a camera, bought some lighting gear, bought some sound gear, and we just started filming stuff. And I fell in love with it, and I felt like so fortunate that I found that after music. It became my new thing to do. It kind of became like my new band. And it's so funny when life does that to you, when something right out of the blue kind of like changes your life forever. So yeah, I'm just glad that I didn't fall for any of the booby traps that were like regular jobs, I guess, you know, because it's hard to fund the revolution when you want to be an artist, and sometimes the best plan seems like, you know, go get a job at a bank or something to stop being poor. So you got to resist that, stick in there. You're only defeated when you quit, right? Am I right? Yeah. Not to be like, you know, motivational speaker or something stupid like that, but it's the truth. If you were the opposite sex, I like where this is going. I haven't even read the rest of it yet. I grew up with 4 brothers, so, you know, let's see where this is going. If you were the opposite sex, what would your name have been? Oh, spirulina. I really like health food. Or should I say, I really like health food. What is one thing people would be surprised to know about you? Oh, I feel like I'm open book. I was a fat kid. I was a chubby kid. Yeah. What is the best advice you've been given? I already did it. That's all I did. That's my dad. That's like 3rd time. Are you a bathroom singer? What's that? They go around the toilet? Yeah, I'm a bathroom singer. I can't go to the bathroom unless there's at least 2 other people in there and we're singing like barbershop quartet. Which celebrities you believe are the most influential? To me? Yeah, like, I think like, I probably drew the most from professional athletes. I always thought that watching sports and stuff like that was like the best storyline because like recently I've been, like I said, I've trained with these UFC fighters and I've been watching a lot of UFC fights, and I even have my best friend in Canada who used to be like a champion MMA fighter, and when I watch 2 dudes fight, it is like they're the writer and the director and the actors in their own story, and nobody knows where it's going or how it's going to end, and they get so tired that like their truth comes out or something weird like that. So I find it very interesting to watch, and I also feel like no matter how stressed out I get about something, I don't have to get in a cage and fight another man. So that's crazy and inspiring. On what do you spend the most? Clothes, accessories, perfumes, underwear, or anything else? Food. Definitely food. It's on the list. Last question, everybody. A memory of your childhood you want to share? Let's see. I have a good one for you. A memory of my childhood. Okay, this is awesome. I was actually shot in the head on my birthday as like a 7-year-old kid with an arrow that some other kid shot up in the air. I was on my picnic table unwrapping a gift, and it was my birthday, and I was so psyched. And all of a sudden, something hit me in the top of the head, and like it didn't stick in, it just like bounced, and I was like, oh! And then all I could see was red, and it was like blood started coming down my face and dripping off my nose, and I just went like, ah! It didn't even really hurt. I was just freaked out with all the blood. It was on my freaking birthday. Some stupid kid shot an arrow up in the air. So maybe it was like awesome, like history repeating itself. That later on, I get shot in the head with an arrow, and it gives me my acting career.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Oh, wow. I've always answered that question with Tahiti, because I've never been, but I hear it's like supposed to be the most beautiful island. But now every time I come to Europe, I'm always like, I just want to stay here for a long time. I don't know. Maybe London or Paris. Paris. Aren't you're from Paris?
No, I'm not here.
Oh, well, yeah. Paris would be fun.
Okay, thank you.
But, oh, Brussels!
Hi.
Hi.
First of all, you look amazing.
Thank you.
You're really beautiful. I really want to know what's, according to you, make a good screen partner.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it's really important when you're working with people, especially if you do a lot of scenes with them, if it's a TV show and almost all your scenes are with them, just that they listen to you and they work with you and don't ever tell you what to do. I think that's really important. Someone telling you, you know, oh, don't do that, like move over here sooner or something. You know what I mean? I think that's really stifling, and I think it just creates this weird chemistry that isn't helpful for anyone. So definitely just, I mean, someone who listens to you and works with you and cares about your character as well as theirs.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hello.
His question is because he doesn't speak English, so...
Oh, okay.
No,
that's okay.
He wants to know, since you came back to life, when Barry touched you, if you had any superpower, what would you like to
have? Well, in the comic book, she's a speedster, so she will at some point have speed. But I guess if I could choose, I think I said this yesterday, but reading minds would be really cool.
Okay.
But only if you could turn it off, because otherwise you'd hear like everything everyone was thinking all the time, which could be terrible. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. I wanted to know what was the worst thing you did while being drunk or high?
Oh my gosh! Whoa! Well, probably something I can't remember. But, the worst thing. Oh god. Wow, I don't know. That's terrible. Well, I mean, okay, so I've baked brownies and things before. And for some reason, maybe I just like cook the butter for too long or something, but they're always so strong. And I give them to my friends, and they've done some crazy stuff on them. One of my friends like got in the shower with all of his clothes on and like started talking to himself, and his girlfriend was like, "I'm so scared right now, I don't know. I should take him to the hospital or something." So that was pretty bad, but that wasn't me. I don't know, I'm a pretty like collected drunk. I guess if I go like dancing and I'm really drunk, then I might crazily dance. But yeah, not anything too bad.
Okay, thank you. Same still of question than her. What was the most embarrassing moment who happened to you when you were on the set of The Flash?
Oh, on the set of The Flash. Most embarrassing. Oh, okay. I had a line where I was talking about blueberries and antioxidants, and I kept like stumbling on the words, and I kept saying boob berries like multiple times, so that was kind of embarrassing. Yeah.
Hi. Have you ever heard of the Running Man challenge?
A little bit. Why?
Could you please do it?
Only if you can do it first. Okay. Here we go. Okay, I'm also going to Snapchat this. Okay, here we go. Running Man challenge. Here it goes. Oh, wait, that's so good. How do I do that? Okay. Legs crossed. Okay. Here we go. Okay, I have no idea what that was, but no, that's so bad. Thank you for making me do that. Okay, so that happened. Hi.
You said yesterday you was a huge fan of the Vampire Diaries, so I want to know who's your favorite character and why?
Okay, so Vampire Diaries. Okay, I think I've always liked Stefan more, but Nina plays. Yes, Elena is. She's definitely like my favorite character, but of the two boys, Stefan for sure. He's just nicer, and I think better looking. You feel the same? Oh, someone's booing! Oh my gosh! I'm just not into the whole like brooding, evil. Like that's just not my personal choice.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi again. I wasn't there yesterday for your Q&A, so maybe you already didn't ask this question, but and it's a very irrelevant one. When you were growing up, did you have a celebrity crush, and do you still have a celebrity crush?
Now it's what's his name? The guy from Scorch Trials and Teen Wolf. Dylan Ryan. So cute. And it was so sad to hear about his accident. The office of where they make the Scorch Trials is right next to the Flashes in Vancouver. So we all like went over there and kind of said our piece with everyone that was there. I mean, he was in the hospital, but and I think he's recovering now and he's doing really well. But yeah, he's still cute. Yeah.
Hi. Hello. First, do you watch Game of Thrones?
I do. I haven't seen the last week, and tonight's episode, obviously.
And I was wondering, what is your Game of Thrones house?
Okay. Oh, interesting. I mean, the Starks are awesome, right? They're also, yeah, they're pretty great. But Daenerys is my favorite character. Mother of dragons. Oftentimes people say that my spirit animal is a dragon, so I might have to say them, the Targaryens. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, hello. If you could play any other TV show, what would it be?
Any other TV show? Well, Game of Thrones would be great, right? Good question. I think, I mean, I grew up watching Law and Order SVU. Does anyone watch that? Law and Order? Yeah. It's kind of, you know, it's a little boring choice, but I just love Mariska. She's so great. So I guess that thank you, that could be cool, yeah. Hello. Yes. I guess, I don't know, I feel like people think of Belgium as sort of an older place because, you know, the buildings are old and the city has been here forever, but the people are young, so I think that's something that is not true. And you guys all seem very, like, hip, and you know what's cool, and so I think like that's something that maybe people don't think about. So yeah, you proved us all wrong. Yeah.
Hi. Hello. I'm just wondering if you could watch 3 shows for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
Whoa. Then they would just keep